Hello everybody, welcome back to the Sea of Thieves. Previously, in the first half of our discussion of world events, we covered all of the land-based events. But now, in the second half, we will cover the sea-based ones. The Skeleton Fleet, the Ghost Armada, and the Burning Blade. Starting things off, we have the Skeleton Fleet, a world event that always spawns in the same place, at the center of the map, by the Reaper's Hideout and the Sea Dog Outpost. This event is marked by a ship-shaped cloud that most resembles a galleon. Once you enter the region of this world event, you will get notified of the name of the fleet you will be facing. Much like the Skeleton Fort, you will be facing waves. But instead of just skeletons, you will be facing waves of skeleton ships. The ship types and the amount of skeleton ships will change depending on the ship you are using. The bigger your ship, the bigger and more skelly ships there will be, along with them all being more aggressive to fire at you and to repair. There are 3 waves for the Skeleton Fleet event, with the third and final wave having a skeleton galleon. Depending on the ship you are using, it will be by itself or with another skeleton ship. For example, if you're on a sloop, it will just be the skeleton galleon. On a brigantine, it will be a skeleton galleon and a skeleton sloop. On a galleon, you will face 2 skeleton galleons. The skeleton galleon of the third wave is the flagship of the fleet, only distinguishable when you get close. If you see a red name pop up above the skeleton captain of the ship, then that is the flagship, harboring the bulk of the loot. Though, every ship you sink, whether it's in the first, second, or third wave, whether it's a skeleton sloop or a skeleton galleon, it will drop loot. Once sunk, about 8 birds will appear above the sunken ship, where the loot will pop up to the surface. So make sure to stop at every ship you sink, whether it's between waves or during. Each ship can drop about 8 to 10 pieces of treasure, but the flagship will drop about 20 to 30 pieces of treasure. Multiple Ashen chests, multiple ritual skulls, 4 skeleton captain chests, and 4 skeleton captain skulls. Each skeleton captain treasure is worth about half of its stronghold counterpart. Ultimately, the Skeleton Fleet has one of the highest payouts of all of the world events. Though, before I move on to the next event, I should discuss how the skeleton ships act. There are 2 skeleton ship types, the skeleton sloop and the skeleton galleon, but I like to call them scoops and scallions. The scoop is more maneuverable, while the scallion is slower but has plenty of firepower, much like the normal player ships. These skelly ships tend to act much more sporadic when it comes to sailing, as they don't follow the same rules as us pirate ships do. They can suddenly gather boosts of speed on a whim, they can turn on a dime, their masts are untouchable, and they can't have their anchor dropped, unless of course you use a curse ball. But the hull of a skelly ship is just as damageable as the normal ships, so aim for the waterline. And these skelly ships are just as boardable as normal player ships, and they even have a similar layout. But they have endless spawning skeletons aboard, so if you do board a skelly ship, your only goal should be to prevent them from repairing. Fun fact, skeletons on skelly ships, they can repair their ship, but they can't bucket. So any water that flows into their ship is permanent progress towards sinking them. Unless, of course, a player buckets out the water for whatever reason. Another fun fact, in the crow's nest of skelly ships, they have sniper skeletons. They can shoot you at a distance, taking away roughly 45% of your health. So keep an eye on that health bar of yours. On top of being able to shoot your ship with cannonballs, the skelly ships also have cursed balls, though each individual skelly ship has only one type of curse ball. Of all the ship-affecting curse balls, aka the purple ones, the skelly ships can have any one of them. For example, if a skelly ship fires an anchor ball at you, dropping your anchor, then that means they only have anchor balls as their cursed ordnance. One last fun fact I have for skelly ships, every skelly ship has a banner on their starboard side. This banner reveals what curse ball they have, so you don't have to get shot to know what they have. Now for the Ghost Armada. The Ghost Armada is the second act of war by Flameheart when he was resurrected. These ghost fleets are living memories of old battles had by Flameheart when he first waged war on the Sea of Thieves. This event is marked on the horizon with a green tornado that looks somewhat similar to the Ashen Winds Event. Once a crew approaches, they will face many ghost ships that orbit the island. These ghost ships will fire upon your ship with phantom shots, acting much like cannonballs but unable to one-ball players. Ghost ships can also fire flame phantom shots, dealing fire to the ship upon impact. Wraith shots are another ordnance ghost ships have to pick from. When wraith shots are fired, a massive screaming head will fly in a very shallow arch and will deal massive knockback and multiple holes of damage upon impact. Another ability of the ghost ships is to drop ghost gunpowder barrels if a player is behind them for too long, so always be careful when sailing through these ghostly armadas. Especially since if you sail through a ghost ship, the pressure of it can cause holes to form on your ship alone. Ghost ships are not boardable, and their masts are untouchable. However, all it takes to eliminate these ghastly vessels are 3 direct hits. Cannonballs, or any other ordnance, can all deal damage to these ghost ships. Once 3 shots hit, they will explode with incredible force, knocking back your ship if you're too close. But once about 8 to 10 ghost ships are destroyed, you will reach wave 2, the first captain wave. In this wave, there will be 2 ghost captain ships, accompanied by 2 normal ghost ships each. While the normal ghost ships only take 3 shots, the captain ships take at least 10. The amount of shots needed to destroy the captain ships will alter depending on the player's ship type. These 2 groups of ghost ships will orbit the island with no altering of their routes. You must face or follow these groups and take out their captains. Taking out the captains will drop an assortment of loot and immediately dissipate the ghost ships at their sides. Once both captain groups are eliminated, the 3rd wave will start, which is identical to the first wave. And once the 8 to 10 ghost ships are once again defeated, you will enter the 4th and final wave, the 2nd captain wave. This wave will have 2 captain ships and their accompanying ghost ships, but for this wave alone, there will be a ghostly flagship with 4 accompanying ghost ships by their side. This flagship is known as the Burning Blade, the memory of Flameheart's flagship from his first invasion. The captain ships are marked with a circular dragon mark on the sails, known as the Ashen Dragon mark, and the flagship is marked with a burning heart symbol, Flameheart's trademark sigil. I would recommend eliminating the captain ships before eliminating the flagship, since if you beat the flagship before the captain ships will disappear before dropping any loot, ultimately finishing the event. Fun fact, each of the normal ghost ships have a chance to drop a storage crate of the Damned, offering you more supplies for the fight. Also, one of the goodies that drops from the flagship is a cannonball crate of the Damned, which harbors special ghost ordnance such as the Wraith Balls. And finally, we have the final world event so far, the Burning Blade. In the previous world event, we fought the memory of Flameheart's flagship. In this world event, we'll be fighting the reincarnation of it. This world event is marked with a red spiral on the horizon and a burning blade ship on the map. This event starts off as a monstrous version of a normal skeleton ship, though instead of a skeleton galleon or sloop, this skeleton ship is the size of a man of war, a ship theorized to be made for player crews of 5 to 6. But with the very first appearance of a man of war in the Sea of Thieves, it acts as a world event, having 10 cannons and an ashen roar at the front. This is definitely the toughest skeleton ship in the game, though that isn't what makes it so remarkable. Once you've beaten this behemoth, you'll be offered by Flameheart himself to take over this ship as your very own. But once taken over, your original ship will sink automatically. But now that the Burning Blade is yours, you get to use it for your own adventures, being able to respawn on it and have a whole skeleton crew as your own. This man of war is officially yours. Once player owned, the masts are sloop strength, meaning it takes 2 chain shots to knock. The masts, sails, and capstan are all incredibly fast to use as well, despite the absolute size of this ship. The skeletons on the ship are its main feature. Once player owned, the skeletons are friendly only to those who sail it. They can help repair, fire cannons, and repel boarders. However, they still cannot bucket, much like the skeleton ships. Like the skeleton ships, the skeletons on the Burning Blade are not infinite. There's a certain limit to how many can respawn, and that depends on the amount of players that are crewing the blade. The fewer the players, the more skeletons that can respawn. You can also control the Ashen Roar, a massive flaming cannon at the front of the ship that can set entire ships ablaze with a single hit, all powered from a rechargeable lever by the wheel. But once you've gained control of this behemoth, your main goal is to go to the skeleton camps around the map. There are 6 of them, 2 in each region. They are marked with Flameheart's sigil. The beacon that they are often recognized by shows that it is active and available for completion. If there is no smoke trail, then that means it has been completed recently and has nothing to offer at the moment. But as the crew of the Burning Blade, your goal is to reach these camps and go down into the temple that resides in each of them. Once you plunge into the depths of the temple, you'll want to solve the constellation puzzle. Once you light the brazier in the center, the platform will rise up, and all of these panels around the temple will start rotating. Once they've all come to a stop, then that means the puzzle is ready. There are 3 main panels at the front that show specific constellations. With the center brazier, acting very similarly to a lighthouse beacon, you can scan the stars to reveal constellations. The main goal of the temple is to find the 3 main constellations shown on the 3 front panels, and trace the constellations correctly. To trace the constellations, press the right trigger on Xbox, R2 on PlayStation, or left click on PC. This will slow down the brazier beacon and focus the light to be more narrow. With the more narrow light, trace the correct stars to make the constellation. If the constellations are blocked by anything in the temple, you can use the wheel near the entrance to rotate the star map to move any constellations into more exposed spots. Once all three are traced, the ritual door will open, revealing the ritual inside. Light the 4 braziers on the platform with your lantern, then interact with the orb of secrets in the center of the ritual. Once interacted with, you will have increased the value of the burning blade, and reset the amount of skeletons you have back to max. You can keep doing this with each of the skeleton camps, rotating around the map over and over again, with however many camps as you wish. But once you've reached the camp streak on the blade that you desire, then you can visit the Reaper's hideout to cash in the burning blade itself to receive the reward. Note, the streak you are on is public to the entire server. Also, when the burning blade is active, when it's Skelly-owned or player-owned, no other world event can spawn, meaning if others are on the server and they want any other world event, they'll have to take you down. An alternative for those who don't want to crew the burning blade, you can simply sink the blade when Skelly-owned, wait a bit, then shoot the blade again to signal that you don't want to crew it, which will cause the burning blade to sink into the water. Once it has fully despawned, it will drop the loot that was on board, and its Blade of Souls, a sellable form of the Burning Blade. This same Blade of Souls will drop if you are sunk while crewing the Burning Blade, and the value of the sword will reflect how many camps were completed. Fun fact, this Blade of Souls acts as a pretty fun weapon, acting as a normal sword but with extra damage and the ability to set enemies on fire. And that is everything I have for this video. Thank you all for your patience, and I hope you all learned something new. If you find anything I've missed in terms of world events, please make sure to leave a comment below. The next episode of this series will cover world encounters such as the sea forts and the megalodons. So if you have any questions about those, please feel free to let me know so I can make sure to get those answered. But thank you all for watching, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.